We have people come here from all over the world, and they can't figure out what this art is doing out here in the middle of nowhere. Did he donate pictures to churches in Saskatchewan? Definitely. A lot of churches he did for free of charge. My grandfather originally came from Germany. From Germany, he immigrated to Reading, Pennsylvania. From Reading, Pennsylvania, at his late 40s, he moved up here to St. Walburg, Saskatchewan. He came up here on a hunting trip with some people he knew, and there was inexpensive land up here at that time. So he bought land, and he liked the area, and he moved up here.
They moved in 1914. He hired other people to work his land and to break it because he wasn't a farmer. He was an artist, and that's all he did.
He decorated a lot of churches. He was trained in art schools in Halle and Dusseldorf in Germany. Most of his work was done in the States, in the Dakotas, and mostly around Pennsylvania. The list we have of all the churches he did was over 90. But obviously he did a lot more than that because there are some churches that he did that we haven't got lists of.
We were at the Imhoff studio, the working gallery of my husband's grandfather, Berthold von Imhoff. He started all these paintings in charcoal first, and then he would put 3 coats of oil. And he also only painted by the north light because he also had to mix his own colors. He couldn't buy the colors that he used at that time. That's why all the windows in this studio are on the north side, and he could get the true colors that way.
When they would contact him to do a church, he had numerous amounts of small paintings. Like you see them all around the side over here. He'd take those with him, and they would pick out what they wanted in a church, and then he would paint it in life size. All the pictures that he did were done right in this building. And then they would take him down to the church and then put up, unless it was a curved area like over an altar or a curved dome or something, then the canvases were put up and they were painted right in the building, right there. Even though they lived up here in Saskatchewan, they would go back to the States and do projects. When they did the large church in Reading, Pennsylvania, they moved down there.
We're in the St. Peter the Apostle Roman Catholic Church. This is undoubtedly Berthold Imhoff's masterpiece. At the top of the ceiling here are 224 life-sized figures processing towards the altar. In the sanctuary, we see St. Paul preaching to the peoples of the East and St. Peter preaching to the peoples of the West. Berthold received a commission from St. Peter's Church to paint this procession of saints, and he did this at his studio in St. Walburg, Saskatchewan, and put the paintings on a train, and he and his son Carl came down here and installed the paintings in approximately the mid-1920s.
When he moved up here, yeah, he was well off. But everything he made in churches, he would put back in his canvases. He painted when he didn't have commissions. All the ones you see in here today, he just painted to paint. No sale for him. He never did sell a picture. He never painted a picture to sell. It was just churches that he was commissioned to do.
In the United States, he did very well. Everything he had, he paid for with the work of his artwork. Much of the work that he did in the churches in Saskatchewan, often they were donated. It was important to him that they had something that reminded them maybe of their homeland, because a lot of these were European people, and the churches were decorated beautifully there. And so he would give them a gift that way, a reminder of their homeland. And also even in worship, it was the art helped them because it drew them to thinking of things that were, say, removed from everyday life. A decoration from the Pope came in 1937. He was knighted with the knighthood of St. Gregory the Great. It was befitting that knighthood was bestowed on him because St. Gregory the Great was noted for his charity. He used his wealth to the good of everybody. When he died, he was not well off at all. He was in fact very poor. And so for helping with Mrs. Imhoff, his wife, gave a painting to the undertaker because there was no money. He was a very spiritual person, and I wouldn't say so much religious as very faithful. He had a faith, and he had a goodness in him. I mean, he had to have given so much, not only in his artwork, but in other charity too. Like if somebody was hard up, he would help them out, and that was not known until after he died.